You have been preparing for 2 years, maybe longer. You have food stored, water, a bag by the door, maybe a weapon. You have thought about this. You have read the books, watched the videos, made the lists. You are ready. And in the first 7 days, you will make at least 3 of the mistakes I am about to describe. Probably more. Not because you are careless, not because you are stupid. Because every single one of these mistakes feels like the right call. That is what makes them fatal. They do not look like mistakes. They look like logic. They look like responsibility. They look like the thing a smart, prepared person would do. And that is exactly why nobody sees them coming until day 7, when the math stops working, and you realize that every decision you made since day 1 has been building a structure, and the structure just collapsed on top of you. 5 days this week. The invisible man, the bag, the confident one, the slow collapse. Trust. Each one, a piece of the same machine. Today, all of it. 7 mistakes, 7 days, 1 cascade. Let us begin. Mistake 1, day 1. Lock everything down. The power has been out for 6 hours, maybe 8. The phones are not working. You do not know what happened, but you know it is bad. And the first thing you do, the thing every manual, every video, every forum post tells you to do, is secure your perimeter. Lock the doors, board the windows, close the curtains. You turn your home into a box, and you sit inside it, and you wait. This feels correct. This feels like step 1 in every plan you have ever read. And it is the beginning of the end. Here is what actually happens when you seal your house on day 1. You lose lines of sight. You cannot see your street. You cannot see who is moving, who is watching, who is leaving, who is arriving. Your windows are covered. Your doors are locked. You're inside a container with no sensory input from the environment that is changing minute by minute outside your walls. And the environment is changing, because you are not the only one making decisions right now. Every person on your block is making decisions. The family at the end of the street is loading a car. The man 3 houses down is standing in his yard looking at your house, the one with the boarded windows, the one that screams, "Someone in here has something." You cannot see him. He can see you. Or rather, he can see that you prepared. The boards told him. There is a specific detail most people miss. Boarding windows makes noise. Hammering at 2 in the morning in a neighborhood where the power just went out is an announcement. Everyone on your block heard the hammering. Everyone filed it away. The family across the street looked at each other and said nothing. The retired man next door made a mental note. The 2 guys walking the block at dawn, they heard it too. You thought you were fortifying. You were advertising. But that is not the real cost. The real cost is what happens on day 3 when you need to leave. Because sealed doors are not just keeping things out. They are keeping you in a decision you made when you had no information. Day 1, you locked down. Day 2, you reinforced. Day 3, the situation has changed. Maybe there is a water source 2 blocks east. Maybe the neighborhood has organized. Maybe the threat has shifted. And you are sitting in a box behind boards you nailed yourself with no way to see any of it. You locked yourself into day 1's understanding of the world. The world moved on. You did not. The alternative is not leave your door open. The alternative is controlled access. 1 window, high, angled, curtain pulled to one side, gives you a sight line without advertising your position. A back door, unlocked, but barricaded with something you can move in 30 seconds, gives you an exit route. You observe before you fortify.
You keep options before you eliminate them. On day 1, the person who survives is not the one with the strongest locks. It is the one who can still see. Mistake 2. Day 1, late afternoon. Share your supplies with the neighbors. Your neighbor knocks. She has 2 kids. She did not prepare. She knows you. She knows you are the kind of person who has a plan. She asks if you can spare some water, some canned food, anything. And you think, this is how you build a coalition. This is how you create allies. The survival books talk about community, about strength in numbers, about the importance of having people who owe you. So you give. 2 bottles of water, 3 cans, some crackers for the kids. You feel good. You feel like you are doing the right thing. And you are writing yourself a death sentence that takes 6 days to arrive. Here is what happens next. Day 2. She comes back. She brought her sister. Her sister has a husband and a teenage son. Now there are 5 of them. You give again, less this time, but you give. Day 3. The sister's husband comes alone. He does not ask politely. He says his kids are hungry and he knows you have more, because his wife told him. Who heard it from your neighbor, who saw the inside of your kitchen when you opened the door on day 1. On day 1, you had 40 meals stored. By day 3, you have given away 12. By day 5, the husband has told the family at the end of the block. They have not come yet, but they know. Everyone knows now. The mathematics are simple, and they are unforgiving. You stored supplies for your household, maybe 3 people, for 14 days. That is 42 days of food. The moment you start distributing, you are not adding allies, you are adding mouths. 5 extra people, even at half rations, cut your timeline from 14 days to 6. And the people you gave to, they are not your allies now. They are your dependents. And dependents do not protect you. Dependents expect from you. The relationship you built on day 1 with generosity has become, by day 4, an obligation that you cannot fulfill and they will not forgive. The alternative is not cruelty. The alternative is strategy. You help, but you never reveal the full picture. You bring something to them. You do not let them come to you. They never see your kitchen. They never see the shelves. You control the narrative. I found a few extra cans. Not much. We are struggling too. You help at a level that does not create dependency, does not reveal capacity, and does not turn your address into a known resource point. Generosity without intelligence is a donation with a countdown. Mistake 3. Day 2. Wait for official information before acting. The phones are still down. The power is still out. You heard a rumor from someone on the street that there might be a distribution point opening at the school. You heard another rumor that the bridges are closed. You do not know what is real, so you wait. You tell yourself you are being smart, rational. You are not going to panic. You are going to wait for confirmed information before making any moves. This sounds like the most adult, most responsible thing you could do. It is the 3rd mistake that kills people. Here is what happens while you wait. The 48 hours between hour 12 and hour 60, roughly day 1 through day 3, is the only unrestricted movement window you will get. After that, patterns calcify. People establish territory. Routes become claimed or watched. Resources that were available on day 1, fuel in abandoned cars, water in public buildings, supplies in stores that have not yet been looted, are gone by day 3. Not because someone took them, because someone claimed them. And claiming happens while you are sitting in your sealed house, waiting for the radio to tell you something useful. The person who moves on day 1 with imperfect information covers more ground, acquires more resources, and establishes more relationships than the person who moves on day 3 with perfect information. Because by day 3, the geography is different. The social landscape has rearranged itself. Groups have formed, territories have been drawn, and you, the rational one, the patient one, the one who waited, you are now a latecomer to a game that started without you. And this is where mistake 1 feeds mistake 3. You locked down on day 1. You cannot see outside. You have no incoming information except what leaks through your fortification. So you wait, because what else can you do? You are sitting in a sealed box, dependent on information that has no way of reaching you, waiting for a system that may no longer exist to tell you what to do next. Mistake 1 created the conditions for mistake 3. The cascade has started. The alternative? Move early with imperfect data. Verify later. Take one reconnaissance trip on day 1, even 90 minutes. See the street, talk to 3 people. Identify what is real and what is rumor. Then return and make a plan based on what you saw, not what you were told by someone who was told by someone who heard something. The cost of early action is uncertainty. The cost of waiting is irrelevance. There is a detail from every extended power outage that researchers document, but nobody discusses. The people who leave the affected zone within the first 18 hours experience fundamentally different outcomes than the people who leave after 72. Not just logistically, psychologically. The first group makes decisions. The second group reacts to decisions that were made for them. On day 1, you have agency. By day 3, you have options. Fewer options, surrounded by other people's choices. By day 5, you have constraints. The window does not close slowly. It closes like a door. And you were waiting for the radio to tell you when to walk through it. Mistake 4. Day 3. Move at night for cover. By day 3, you have realized that the neighborhood is not as friendly as it was on day 1. Someone broke into the house across the street. You heard shouting 2 blocks over last night. You need to move, either to relocate or to resupply. And you decide to move at night, because night equals cover, because darkness equals concealment, because every movie, every tactical manual, every instinct tells you that if you do not want to be seen, you move when it is dark. This is logical. This is also how people break ankles, walk into ambushes, and disappear. Here is what actually happens at night in an environment without electricity. There is no light. Not reduced light. No light. No street lights, no porch lights, no glow from windows. The darkness is absolute in a way that people who have lived with electricity their entire lives have never experienced. You cannot see the curb. You cannot see the pothole. You cannot see the wire that someone strung across the path between 2 fences. And the people who are dangerous, they are not sleeping. The people who operate at night in a disrupted environment are the people who have been doing this longer than you. The people who are comfortable in the dark, the desperate, the predatory, and the experienced. You are walking into their territory with a flashlight that announces your position from 400 meters. And here is the connection to mistake 2. The neighbors you fed on day 1 now know what you have. By day 3, some of them are running low. They are watching for you. Not because they are evil, because they are parents and they remember where the food came from. Moving at night does not hide you from people who already know where you live. It hides you from everyone who might have helped you. The strangers, the other prepared families, the people forming groups in daylight, they cannot see you. Your allies cannot find you. Your threats already know where you are. The alternative, move at first light. Dawn. The hour when threat actors are sleeping off the night, when visibility is returning, when you can see obstacles and faces. You sacrifice concealment for capability. You trade the illusion of invisibility for the reality of awareness. You see where you step. You see who is watching. And the person who moves at dawn with open eyes covers twice the ground with half the risk as the person who moves at midnight with a flashlight. I will give you a specific detail. A man in a post-hurricane neighborhood decided to move supplies from his car to his brother's house, 8 blocks, at 2 in the morning. He made it 3 blocks before he stepped off a curb he could not see and twisted his ankle badly enough that he could not walk. He sat on that curb for 4 hours until dawn, with a backpack full of food, unable to move, visible to anyone who walked past. 3 people walked past before sunrise. 2 of them kept going. The third did not. The man lost the backpack. He crawled home. 8 blocks in daylight would have taken 20 minutes. 8 blocks at night cost him everything he was carrying and 6 weeks of recovery from the ankle. Night does not protect you. Night multiplies every weakness you already have. Mistake 5, Day 4. Follow the group consensus. By day 4, a group has formed. Maybe it is your household plus 2 neighbor families. Maybe it is the people from your apartment floor. There are 8 or 10 of you, and decisions need to be made. Where to get water, whether to send someone to the highway, whether to let the man from the next block join. You have opinions, others have opinions, and the group makes a decision, together, democratically, by consensus. This feels fair. This feels mature. This feels like what civilized people do. And it puts the wrong person in charge every time. Here is the mechanism. Under stress, group consensus does not elevate the most competent voice. It elevates the most confident voice. There is a difference. Competence is quiet. It hesitates. It says, I think, and probably, and we should consider. Confidence is loud. It says, here is what we do, and I have done this before, and trust me. Under normal conditions, groups can tell the difference. Under stress, hunger, sleep deprivation, fear, the children crying in the next room, groups cannot tell the difference. They follow the person who sounds certain, because certainty is a painkiller. Uncertainty hurts. The confident voice makes the pain stop, even if the confident voice is wrong. You know this. You saw it on day 3. The man who suggested barricading the stairwell, it sounded decisive. Nobody asked if he had ever been in a situation like this. Nobody asked if barricading meant blocking the only exit. The group voted. The barricade went up. And now, 2 days later, nobody can get to the ground floor without disassembling it. And nobody wants to be the person who says, this was a mistake, because the group already decided. Consensus is not wisdom. Consensus is social pressure with a democratic label. And in a crisis, social pressure follows volume, not value. And here is the link to mistake 1 and 3. You locked down. You waited for information. By day 4, you have less data than anyone who moved early. You have less context. Less first-hand observation. So when the confident voice speaks, you do not have the information to challenge it. You defer, not because you are weak, but because you are blind. The cascade built your blindness step by step, and now it is selecting your leaders for you. The alternative is not dictatorship. The alternative is asking one question before every group decision. Who here has seen this situation before? Not who has an opinion, but who has seen it, who has done it. Who has data, not theory. If nobody has, then admit it. Make the decision anyway, but make it knowing that it is a guess, not a plan. Humility is not weakness in a crisis. Humility is the only thing that keeps you from following the confident fool off a cliff. Mistake 6, Day 5. Maintain your routine. By Day 5, you have established a rhythm. You eat at roughly the same time, morning and evening. You check the perimeter at roughly the same intervals. The children go to the upstairs room during the day and sleep downstairs at night. You have carved out a structure, because that is what humans do, because routine is how we manage anxiety, because the books say, maintain normalcy, and every psychologist on every podcast has said that kids need structure. And they are right. Routine is calming. Structure is helpful. And it will get you killed. Because routine is another word for predictable. Here is how this works. By Day 5, anyone who has been observing you, and someone always is, knows your schedule. They know when you eat because the smell of cooking carries. They know when you check the yard because they can see you from the house on the corner. They know when the house goes quiet because that is when everyone is on the second floor. They know when the back door opens because it squeaks, and at night, sound carries 200 meters. You have not told anyone your schedule. You did not need to. You performed it 5 days in a row, at the same time, in the same sequence. You are a broadcast. And this connects to mistake 5. The group consensus on Day 4 established a shared routine. Shared meals, shared watch, shared sleep schedule. Which means the entire group is vulnerable at the same time. You all eat together. The perimeter is unwatched. You all sleep at the same hours. The house is defenseless during the same 4-hour window every night. The group created a collective routine, and the collective routine created a collective blind spot. The alternative is deliberate variation. Not chaos, variation. You eat at a slightly different time each day, not by hours, by 30-40 minutes, enough that an observer cannot predict the window. You check the perimeter on an irregular schedule. You vary which door you use. You cook at different times, and some days you do not cook at all. Cold meals, no smell, no schedule. This is uncomfortable. It feels wrong. It feels like you are adding stress to an already stressful situation. You are. You are adding the stress of unpredictability, which is the only kind of stress that keeps you alive. Comfort and safety are not the same thing. On Day 5, they are opposites. Think about what a routine looks like from outside. A man stands on the roof of a parking structure 400 meters from your house. He has binoculars. He is not a soldier. He is an accountant from Riverside with 2 daughters who have not eaten since yesterday. He watches your house for 1 day. By the end of that day, he knows someone cooks at 6. He can smell it. Someone checks the yard at 8:30. He can see the flashlight. The house goes dark at 10. The back door opens at 6:45 in the morning. You gave him everything. Not because you talked to him, because you lived in a pattern, and patterns are readable from any distance. Mistake 7. Day 6. Assume the crisis will be over soon. 6 days. No power, no phones, no official communication. Supplies are running low, tensions are rising. And somewhere inside your head, a quiet voice says, "It cannot last much longer. Help is coming. This is temporary. This has to end soon." And that voice, the optimism, the hope, the deep human need to believe that the world still works, is the most dangerous thing in your house. More dangerous than the man on the corner. More dangerous than the dwindling water supply. Because that voice changes your behavior in ways you do not notice until day 7, when the math collapses. Here is what optimism does to your resource management. On day 1, you were careful, strict rations, measured portions. By day 6, the voice in your head is saying, "We probably have 2 more days at most. We can afford to eat a little more tonight. The kids deserve a real meal." And you increase the portion. Not by much, 10, 15%. But you do it on day 6, and again on day 7. By day 8, when you realize it is not ending, you have consumed 3 days of surplus. The 14-day supply you planned? You are on day 8 with enough food for day 10. And the worst part, the part that makes this mistake different from the other 6, is that optimism is contagious. You did not just eat more. You told the group, without saying a word, that things are getting better. Your body language relaxed. Your voice softened. The children picked up on it. The woman who had been strict about portions saw you relax, and relaxed too. The man who was counting cans stopped counting. The group stopped conserving. One person's optimism rippled through the group and burned through 3 days of food in 48 hours. There is a moment that happens in every extended crisis. Researchers call it the false spring. Day 5 or 6. The initial panic has faded. People have adapted to the new routine. Nobody has died. The group has settled into a rhythm. And the human brain, wired to find patterns, wired to seek normalcy, interprets the absence of catastrophe as the beginning of recovery. We made it this far. We must be doing something right. The worst is probably behind us. This is not courage. This is not resilience. This is your brain lying to you, because the alternative, that this is only the beginning, that the real pressure starts on day 10 when stored food runs out and water becomes the only conversation, is too heavy to carry on day 6. So your brain puts it down, and your rations go up. And here is where the entire cascade converges. Mistake 1. You locked down, lost visibility. Mistake 2. You shared, created dependence. Mistake 3. You waited, missed the window. Mistake 4. You moved at night, gained nothing. Mistake 5. You followed consensus, picked the wrong leader. Mistake 6. You kept routine, became predictable. And mistake 7, the optimism, is the mechanism that prevents you from recognizing the stakes 1 through 6. Because the optimistic mind does not audit its own decisions. It does not ask, "What did I get wrong?" It says, "We have survived 6 days. We must be doing something right." And that is the final trap. You are not doing something right. You are burning the last of your resources while congratulating yourself for still being alive. The alternative is planning for the long game from day 1. Not pessimism, accuracy. You do not tell yourself it will be over soon. You do not tell yourself it will last forever. You tell yourself, "I do not know how long this lasts. So I plan for 30 days and hope for 3. You ration for 30. You move as if 30. You build relationships as if 30. And if it ends on day 4, you have lost nothing. But if it ends on day 14, you are the only person on your block who still has food, still has options, still has the ability to make one more decision. Now, the part that matters. 7 mistakes, 1 week. And you noticed something. Each mistake looks independent. Each one has its own logic, its own justification, its own chapter in someone's survival manual. But they are not independent. They are a system. Mistake 1 feeds mistake 3. Mistake 2 feeds mistake 4. Mistake 5 is built on the blindness created by 1 and 3. Mistake 6 amplifies 5. And mistake 7, the optimism, is the anesthetic that prevents you from feeling the damage of all 6. This is not a list. It is a machine. Day 1, you pressed a button. By day 7, the machine has done its work. And the output is a person sitting in a sealed house, surrounded by people who expect things from them, following a leader they did not choose, operating on a schedule everyone can predict, burning through supplies they cannot replace, telling themselves that tomorrow will be better. That person prepared for 2 years. That person read the books. That person had a plan. The plan did not account for the fact that every decision they made would feel correct. Now, you. Run through your plan. The one you have in your head right now. The first thing you would do if the power went out tonight and did not come back. Count how many of these 7 you would hit. Be honest, not with me, with yourself. Because the person who walks into this cascade is not the person who panics. The person who panics makes obvious mistakes, the kind that feel wrong, the kind you catch and correct. The person who walks into this cascade is the person who thinks, the person who makes decisions, the person who has a plan, the prepared one. That is what makes this cascade so efficient. It runs on logic, your logic, and it uses your best instincts. Protect your home, help your neighbors, wait for information, avoid exposure, follow the group, maintain normalcy, stay positive, against you. The only defense is knowing the machine exists before you step inside it. 7 mistakes, all logical, all fatal. But there are people who avoid every one of them, not by luck, not by instinct. By knowing something specific. Tomorrow, who they are, what they know, and what it costs them.